So for today's project, we're going to be installing a bypass switch for this thermostat. You see it only goes down to about 55 or so, and when the place is unoccupied it could get down below that, and that would kick on the propane fireplace over here, and you don't want that kind. So in order to prevent it from coming on, we've been going and turning the gas valve off on it, and you don't really want to be playing with that. So I have this switch here. This switch was removed from probably an old UPS or something. Just a standard little slider switch. I've gone over every nook and cranny of this thing, and unfortunately I would have loved to have mounted it right inside like that, sticking out, but it's just not going to be a possibility. There's not enough room inside the thermostat for the entire switch, so it's not going to work. I planned and thought about it. Plus, how am I going to cut a square hole? You know, not too easy to do that. So, in plastic. So what I'm going to do is just drill a hole here. This is going to mount up. You won't see the terminals there because it's going to mount right up to the side of it. So that'll all be right inside. And all you're going to see is just the switch itself without the terminals there. The screws are going to be there as vestigial organs because I don't have any longer screws that thread into there. Would have been nice, but I don't have that kind, so just going to have to hot glue it in place, and that'll have to do. So let's get started. Slight change of plans. I don't have the depth on the side there, but I do have it on the bottom. So now I'm going to notch that open. And I'm going to use the soldering iron I used to melt plastic to melt a hole, because I don't have a drill bit with me that's large enough. Plus it might end up cracking it, so by melting it I'm probably better off. I keep having other ideas as I'm waiting for the iron to heat up. I found I could actually mount the switch in there the right way and possibly even mount it with its screws. I know I didn't draw that straight, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to notch out that square right there. And I can fit the switch inside in the back right over here, and you'll just have the little black thing protruding, which will make for a much more polished installation. It's going to take longer, but oh well. Let me get that melted out and we'll give it a shot. A little lopsided, but there we are. That's about what I came up with there. So I got that set, and I can put the switch in over here. But the front of the thermostat, that amount of material makes the switch stick out just a bit. Now don't worry about the leads there, but you can see right there how it will fit, but it still sits right along the edge, just slightly proud. So I'm going to shim it out with this is all I have, and I only have one. I'm just going to shim it out with that nut that happens to allow the screw to pass through. It'll sit proud from the wall about yay much, but there's not much I can do about that because there's just no room in the thermostat for me to mount it. I could still mount it externally, and I would do that, but I'd really rather finish it off with some screws to go through, and I don't have that available. And considering the ice daggers that are out here, there's even icicles hanging from the bird feeder. Yeah, I don't think we're going out, so I got to make do with what I got. It's time to solder some wires on, so I got the soldering iron, a couple of pieces of wire. I'm going to clean that up, solder it on, and bend them over or cut them off or something, make it fit even a little better. One horrible solder job later, I don't have any of my tools here. I just have the bare minimum, so everything is pretty bad, but it is soldered. Nothing's touching because I can get my nail between it, just like that. So that's all we need. I bent that over to give me a little bit more clearance. I might try to just bend it that way a little bit. And now I'm going to put it in the thermostat, put it with a dot of hot glue, and then I'll see about actually running the screws in as well. Okay, I got the switch in there with just a couple little dots of hot glue. And now I have the magic Harbor Freight drill bit, this little tiny thing in the hex thing, which I'm going to put in my little low-powered screwdriver. This is smaller than those holes, that way I get to drill that out, and they'll pop through, and then put the screws in, and we're good. Just ream out with a larger bit. Now you can see how much that's going to sit proud. So although I could get some sort of plate maybe to go on the back or something, I think I'm actually just going to notch the wall out. That's going to be the easiest way. That way the switch will fit and it'll look a lot more flush. I have the I have a screw and that little nut like I was showing you before, but I think what's going to happen is it's going to end up being a little wibbly wobbly, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'll notch the wall out a bit. That's it. It's in. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's in, it's mounted, and that's how it's going to stay. With those screws in there, almost bolted through the plastic right into the switch housing. That's not going anywhere. And I'm going to notch the wall out because that's just not going to fit. Right there. Just like that. I think that looks fugly. I do too, but unfortunately I can't bring my entire collection of tools, so with a drill bit and some sanding, I made an area large enough that the switch fits in. The red wire will connect to the red wires in the thermostat. White wire goes back to the thermostat, and we're going to solder that up and heat shrink it. Here's the finished product.
It does heat up.
Just a switch, just right there. That's all it is. Almost wouldn't see it. That's the little switch right there. I don't have any better lighting really. But the way it works is because this is the lowest point on the thermostat, we put that all the way low and all the way that way, and then that turns everything off. And no matter how high you turn that up, it does not light up until you flip the switch, and there it is. Just like that, and now you can just set it to whatever temperature you want. We'll leave it right there. That's right. Perfect. So that was only 6 hours, not too bad, not too bad. I notched the wall out almost enough, so it's about as close as it's going to get. But otherwise you'd never even notice, so it's good. Perfect. All done. Love that kind. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.